This Seattle Seahawks team preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is giving away $15 million in Best Ball Mania 5. Sign up with SGPN to claim your first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm's college football and NFL picks and projections are now live. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
This is Brian Bosworth, aka The Boz, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, brother. Peace out. Boz out.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Cram?
Dog. Little Friday nightcap.
Ooh,
After dark.
yeah.
You know it's after dark because I got the XFL shirt on. Just
Shout out to the XFL,
just
former
wanted
league.
Yeah, just wanted to pour one out for the formerly XFL, currently UFL goon squad that's stealing money from the U.S. Army.
Yeah, if you didn't, I think we talked about it on one of these shows. But
We did.
Military.com reporting Army is super pissed off at the way the UFL did their partnership, got 0 recruits from, some would say mostly UFL.
How's that
Jeff's,
possible?
complete disaster. I like to say, I like to think I was part of the reason that submarined the league and the partnership because that guy was a prick.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just shine a light on sometimes you just shine a light on a building filled with rats.
They scurried, Ryan.
And they scurry out.
They scurry out.
So, this is of course a Sea Dragons XFL shirt. So,
Oh wow! Shout out to the Sea Dragons. Great
little
name.
crossover between
Sea Dragons, Seahawks.
Yeah, they both of the sea. We like that.
Oh, shout out to Little Squeeze, rocking the Little C's pizza
Whoa.
logo. Oh man, shout out to Little Caesars. Hopefully we get Little Caesars back on. I gotta say, I was really enjoyed doing those reads last season. Hopefully, Little C's is back as a sponsor, giving them all these free plugs. Right?
When we're having the business meetings and we're like, yeah, the audience kind of just they check back in when football starts. Great example right here.
Yeah.
Use this as the evidence. Still rocking the Little
Squeeze pizza.
Oh, how we miss the Roman pizza spear. All right.
Yes. Ryan, of course, a reminder,
Yes.
the phrase that pays. It is a 32-word phrase. Each team preview, I will reveal a word. So right now we are on.
You're never going to recap the phrases, right?
No, because that wouldn't be fair to the Ryan. This is to reward the true.
Hashtag Legends only.
The loyal listeners. There are people who are grinding out these team previews with us, putting in the time, the dedication,
2-a-days
to listen to all 32 NFL team previews. There might be some jolly come latelys. Oh, I'll flip back on for NFL week 1. I don't want those people getting a reward. Or maybe, I'll check out a couple team previews. You don't call yourself a true D-Gen only. You're not a graduate of D-Gen University. Today's word of the phrase that pays for the Seattle Seahawks, is the word. Just that,
The letter A.
the letter A, which also works as a word. No, A, just A. That's all it is. A reminder, Ryan. We've this is our 10th.
That's crazy.
This is our 10th team preview already.
That's crazy.
Recapping our win total record from last year, 2023. I'm 7-3. You're 6-4. Very good start to the team previews. Seattle Seahawks went 9-8 straight up, 8-7-2 ATS. Their win total was 8.5. We both had the over. Both barely got over with that last win. I kept going. It was like Seattle is always a weird team, and I feel like I might get there this time where
it was Pete Carroll.
I think Pete Carroll is what
it was.
eventually nudged me to the over, and I have a feeling I don't do my predictions before we walk through the schedule, but I have a feeling I'm going to be a hair under. I feel like losing Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll gave you a really good floor, and much like I believe Sean Payton gives you a really good floor. Again, never having a team with a little less than 7-9 record. I think Pete Carroll did a very good job. If you recall, I was ahead of schedule with their 2022 season, where everyone's like, "Oh, they're going to blow up the entire team. They're going to tank." I'm like, Pete Carroll isn't a guy that tanks. Again, you go back to 1999. He had one 6-10 season, 1994. Other than that, it was all 9-7, 8-8. He did have a couple 7-9s his first years in Seattle, but then other than that, 1 7-10, 9-8, 9-8 last 2 seasons. He had a very high floor, and with the new head coach, with the new coordinator, with the new offense, I don't know if we definitely have that floor.
To me, there's a couple situations in the NFL this year where you had a guy who's there for a long time. You kind of got bored of each other, and I feel like so often the next season is just a complete catastrophe. Now, yeah, there have been outliers. Yeah. Absolutely, there's been standout coaches who are ready to go right from the get go. But whether we're talking New England or Seattle, to me, I think there is enough like organizational turnover, player turnover, maybe not, but organizational turnover in a way where you can tell me Pete Carroll was too old to do the job anymore. But I would point at the way this team played over the last couple seasons, maximizer of talent. I don't know that the new coach, I know he's got a sick defensive scheme. I know the offense is going to be fun, but I have no idea what this team is going to do with the talent. And they have some interesting situations because if you trace, like, for example, JSN back to his college days, I wonder if he might chirp a little bit. He's not getting the ball enough. I also wonder if this offense is going to work at all. Geno Smith is at the middle of it. And I have a surprising take here.
Yes.
Bringing in Sam Howell and PJ Walker, a couple dogs. I wonder what this was meant to do.
Dog.
Well, it's an interesting team to grade, right? Because normally when you have a new head coach, it's because the team totally bottomed out, but they didn't really bottom out. They were 9-8. So even coach of the year, it is a weird situation for Mike Macdonald to come in, right? Because he wins 10 games. I think they'll be happy because it's a new head coach, but you're kind of right where you were at last year. Normally a first year head coach who wins 10 games, he's right in the mix for coach of the year. I don't know if you would be.
I was surprised to start when I saw the Mike Macdonald coach of the year tout start to like pop up in the offseason.
I still stand by my math that you need to win 4 or 5 more games than the year previously. Now, maybe if, again, last year was a crazy outlier with 4 quarterbacks in Cleveland, Joe Flacco literally off the couch. I wouldn't use that as your system. And maybe if Geno Smith gets hurt and he has an amazing season with Sam Howell, he'll get a lot of credit for that. But you look at some of the position groups, I think they're pretty solid.
The players.
I think running backs with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, I think you're looking pretty good. Obviously, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, getting a little long in the tooth, but you like JSN as that third receiver. Noah Fant, is in a position. He doesn't have the competition that he's had previously at the tight end position. But yeah, let's walk through. I like what they did with their defense. Drafting Byron Murphy there for the defensive line. I think that was a pretty good pickup for them. I like investing in the offensive line.
Christian Haynes we talked about this. Yeah. If the Giants had used their second round pick on a lineman, this would have been the lineman I would have wanted. So certainly like the picks. Byron Murphy was a guy I think we're probably fond of mostly because we were betting on him.
Yeah,
I think we kind of locked in on him early. But also it stands out that there is a lot of turnover here.
Yeah.
This tends to happen when you have a new coach.
Bobby Wagner, who was clearly obviously past his prime, had a great career, but had a dog mentality. Even at the tight end, they lost Will Dissly and Colby Parkinson, which gave them great depth. Can Noah Fant carry it by himself? They bring in Nick Harris, center there. They're really, on the offensive side, the thing that jumps out at me is the offensive line. Still a ton of questions. I mean, most people have their position group 27, 28, 29 is what we have on our sheet, depending on where you get your O-line rankings. Still, no one I think has this as a top 20 offensive line. And you kind of need a pretty decent offensive line if you have an aging Geno Smith back there at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, looking at the positional groups, which full disclosure, I pulled in from PFF. I was surprised at the some of the rankings. Honestly, just makes me discard them sometimes. But with this kind of situation, so I have heard people point out that the defense is changing. I don't think the defense is changing that much. I know that it's going to be this Mike Macdonald offense, but I think or defense, but I know like the types of players. I don't know if it's going to be so different than we have to apply like the 4-3 to 3-4 switch. I do wonder what the offense is going to be. It feels like this offense is loaded up and just, waiting for Geno Smith to crack and then bring in Sam Howell and for him to just throw a million interceptions.
Yeah,
and just
it's
for us
weird.
to be talking about a team that, oh boy, if only they had a quarterback, Sean.
It does feel like they're, it's interesting that we talk about the Minnesota Vikings because you can make some similar comparisons here, right? I think the difference with the Seahawks is massive question marks at the coaching position. And now maybe Mike Macdonald, he was a great coordinator, but you never really know. And I think in the modern NFL, a defensive head coach, we'll see. I mean, again, they figured it out in Houston pretty early, but again, I liked what they did with their roster. This roster isn't bad. It just has some issues. To me, I think I think Geno Smith really could hit the wall. Nothing as far as regression signs. One way or the other, they were +2 turnover differential. But again, their offensive line really struggled to stay healthy, and the offensive line combination that played the most ranked 50th in the NFL. So maybe things break right health for them wise. Ryan Grubb coming in as the OC from the Washington Huskies. Interesting hire there. What do you make of Grubb's, Ryan?
My thought is the offense he ran at Washington is not going to be the offense they're running in Seattle. I can't.
Yeah, I don't think that's an NFL offense.
It just doesn't. It isn't the offense that I've like. If you listen to the head coach talk, it doesn't sound like that's the offense he wants to run. It sounds like his offense is going to involve running the ball some more. It sounds like if he had his way with Baltimore, maybe they would run the ball a little bit more. And yeah, I think you have Kenneth Walker. He's very excited about Kenneth Walker. We like Charbonnet as that backup number 2.
Well, and real quick, because we'll get it when we talk betting. I think it applies to fantasy. This is a blank slate, right? That we're looking at as far as we don't know. Hey, maybe Grubbs likes Charbonnet a little bit more. These coaches didn't draft these guys. They have no priors as far as their work ethic, the way they attack the hole, the way they see the lanes. Charbonnet I think was a pretty talented kid. All the fantasy betting stuff, it's all, hey, Kenneth Walker is the 100% starter. It's not even going to be close. I think it could be closer to a toss-up, or at least should be priced somewhat in the same range. We'll get to it when we talk some of our best bets, but I think there's a couple of Charbonnet things that are kind of fun. I mean, if Charbonnet, let's look at it this way. If Charbonnet had more rushing yards than Kenneth Walker this season, I don't think that should be shocking, and I don't think it should be priced at crazy odds.
I do think Kenneth Walker is going to get more of the volume.
I put it this way. I understand why he's the favorite, but I think it should be a little closer because of so much unknown.
Yeah. So from a fantasy perspective, I think Charbonnet is going way too late, but also Kenneth Walker might be a good pick where he's going, because I think they're going to run the ball a lot. It does sound like they want to feature Noah Fant, which again, I wonder what this is going to look like. You have Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and JSN, and who can forget Jake Bobo, and they signed our favorite Laviska Shenault. They're loaded at receiver, and they want to feature Noah Fant. Has Noah Fant done anything in his NFL career that gets you excited about Noah Fant, other than he was a teammate with either George Kittle or Hawkinson, one of those Iowa guys? I I can't wait to watch Seattle play offense this year to see what it looks like. Because I have a feeling it's not going to be very good, and because of all the fantasy talent on the team, people are assuming it's going to be good. And if the defense isn't good right away, I have issues. And again, my beginning thesis was sometimes you have these coaches that when they leave, there's a little bit of a vacuum, a black hole that isn't filled right away. And I think you're dealing with this situation in New England. I think you're dealing with this situation in Seattle.
Patrick Fisher with a great question in the chat. Shout out to Buffalo's own. What are Mike Macdonald's thoughts on conspiracies? Well, some would say the truth. Does he have mounds of research on Epstein's client list? We haven't heard Mike Macdonald's take on 9/11. Did they replace Pete Carroll because he was getting a little too close, Ryan?
Pete Carroll's losing his mind with the new camera angle.
So a new camera angle was released on the Twin Towers falling, and Pete Carroll leaves in the same year. I guess you just think that's a coincidence, Ryan.
I mean, if you're not familiar with the story of Pete Carroll entertaining a general who happened to be a Seahawks fan with a little get together, maybe a meal, a lunch or something, and the general got up and left because Pete Carroll was asking the questions that needed to be answered about 9/11 being an inside job. I mean, that's just an all-time football coach story. It's a real, like, you probably were able to find it pretty quickly.
This is I'll a read you just a couple of the headlines. Report: Seahawks coach peppered 4-star general with 9/11 conspiracy questions. This is former NFL linebacker Ricky Ellison telling Deadspin, every 9/11 conspiracy theory you could think of, Pete asked about. Pete Carroll didn't quote said, Ellison said Carroll quote didn't stop at 9/11. He had lots of questions about the role of the military today. Pete had a 4-star general in the room, one of the Army's top guys. Why would you push the envelope? Meanwhile, Ellison insisted it was a fun discussion. So,
did Pete Carroll ever coach with Sean McDermott?
Oh, that's also a good question, right? We don't know. We're gonna
both have alternative views on things.
Yeah. Sean McDermott, of course, used the 9/11 hijackers as a story of inspiration for a pep talk, which did turn the season around. In his defense, Ryan,
is Josh Allen wearing one of those skin Mission Impossible faces?
He might be. What do you make their schedule? And we'll go through it in just a second. But 5 road teams do have more than normal rest when facing Seattle. Kind of some interesting. I think they also do have 3 games in 11 days, including McDonald's first Thursday night football game versus San Francisco in Week 6. We highlighted rookie head coaches. Those Thursday night games, especially in the first half of the season, are tough. And we buried the lead. Geno Smith got imaging done. It sounds like it's nothing serious, but the fact that it's already a news story that he's dealing with hip and knee issues for an older quarterback, to me. It is a new story.
You can't make that up.
Now, is it going to hold him out of week 1? No, but is it going to cause him a little pain and hesitation throwing across the middle, throwing some deep shots? I don't think that's unreasonable.
Old quarterback has hip and knee issues.
Yeah.
After working out for weeks straight. I mean,
nothing to see here. The truth is out there. Of course, the truth is we're sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code SGPN. Get up to $250 in bonus cash. I cashed my, for those wondering, I did cash my NFL Hall of Fame pick'em. Their house rules said that if you have unders in pick'em in a game that ended early, they graded those as winners. So thank you, Underdog Fantasy. Always feels good to be a winner. And there's so many ways to win over on Underdog Fantasy. Pick'em, Best Ball Mania, 15 million up for grabs in Best Ball Mania. But again, the pick'em, they got NFL season long. We're going to give out a couple of our favorite NFL season long pick'em plays over on Underdog Fantasy, and it's great. It's available in California, Texas, a ton of other states. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Odds Jam. You know my jam, it's odds. Odds Jam is your one-stop shop for beating the sports books. Odds Jam uses millions of data points across every U.S. and Canadian sports book to show you the best plays for your money. They got a line shopping tool that even covers Bet Online, Bovada. They got an arbitrage tool so you can bet on both sides of the same bet. guaranteeing yourself a profit. And of course, their new fantasy tool helps you dominate Underdog Fantasy. So sign up with Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN, and then go over to oddsjam.com. Use the promo code SGPN, get 35% off your first month of your subscription or a 7-day free trial. Try it out. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And especially if you're getting down on some preseason stuff, plenty of arbitrage opportunities out there in the market. Oddsjam.com, promo code SGPN.
Shall we go through the schedule?
Yeah, fire it up. Well, let's take a look first, obviously, at the odds here. Win total 7.5. Make playoffs plus 186. Miss playoffs minus 235. Division 7-1. Conference 28-1. Super Bowl 65-1. Yeah, I don't know. Seattle is interesting because I do think that ceiling case is held down by Geno Smith. Maybe if you like him, you take the playoffs plus odds. I would say
if you like them, the division price is, any way to fade the Niners, right?
That's true. I guess that's true.
It's steep relative to their win total because the Niners are expected to be
such a massive favorite.
So, but I don't like them. If you want to look at my curve, Sean, if I were to take off my pants and show you my curve.
Your bell curve.
It would be way left. Like most of the distribution to me is under the curve. 4, 5, 6 wins.
Yeah, there are a couple ceiling outcomes, I guess, for this Seattle team. But I think without Pete Carroll there, the floor is low. Some would say as low as Tower 7. Like I think if it goes down, it's going to be a controlled demolition. It's going to be down to the foundation here with Seattle.
They're going to take us off YouTube now. We can't talk about this stuff, Sean.
It probably will trigger a graphic content thing, but this Seattle season could go horribly wrong. The high outcomes, the situations where everything pops, I think is kind of few and far between because you're relying on Geno Smith.
Yeah, I was going to say
a rookie head coach.
To me, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I think we're firing coaches more than ever, which means we're hiring coaches more than ever. What do you think the hit rate is of new coaches? Well, of course it's well below 50%. And so, especially with some of these, like in some ways a defensive head coach has a higher floor, lower ceiling, but I have so many questions about this team.
Well, so let's take a look just at Geno Smith. Geno Smith, when he played in New York, of course, New York Jets and New York Giants, his record as a starter,
he did end
12-19.
Ended Eli's.
Ended Eli's streak. 12-19 as a starter. Then he goes to Seattle, where the past 2 years he's been 18-17. So he's gone from bad to average. Okay, what changed in those two situations?
Well, he got ink.
Well, he did get paid there, but
he wrote back. I was more referencing his calligraphy.
The thing that changed was coaching, right? Pete Carroll was the difference between him being a bad quarterback and a good quarterback. Yeah, he was on bad teams with the Jets and the Giants, but he was still he did have an okay year that first year, 8-8. But where was the consistency? Where was the development? Where was the growth? Oh, and then all of a sudden he comes to Seattle. He has 2 years under tutelage in a backup role with Pete Carroll. He gets another shot. He maximizes that shot to his degree, and he goes 9-8 and then 8-7. I think without Pete Carroll, things might not be as smooth for Geno Smith. I don't think that's crazy.
The puppet master.
I think Pete Carroll deserves some credit.
All right, so I will say we've kind of talked about a couple teams having buy low points in the season. I think the Seahawks could be a sell high team because the easiest part of the schedule for me is front loaded. So we start against the Broncos at home.
Okay,
certainly a very winnable game. Then at Patriots. Dolphins at home. Dolphins will be coming off the Bills game there, Sean. So we don't love to say early season sandwich spots, but definitely a tough
and
one
a
there.
crazy travel spot for the Dolphins too. But
And
they
then-
do have number 1 NFL player Tyreek Hill.
That is, I mean, I not much for the NFL.
He's one of
100,
those
but
guys who will get penetration.
You can't put Mahomes after Tyreek Hill. It makes no sense for so many reasons. And all right, week 4 they'll be at the Lions. Biggest dog spot of the season for the Seahawks. Strangely, you generally, I feel like I've liked betting this team as a dog of late.
Yeah, I mean,
And in all of these spots, it's like, ooh, I don't know. It feels like we're getting some respect almost.
it's kind of weird too. I mean, 6 against the Lions, I could see them hanging, but there's just so many question marks for this team. And I'll say this: they're 4.5 point favors at home against the Broncos. Massive coaching discrepancy. And when does coach? No, I mean,
You're right.
yeah, right.
I don't know if I'm willing to say like massive.
really.
I think
Okay.
there'll be a void because Pete Carroll left, and I'm with you. But I'm not like I think Macdonald's not a horrible coach.
Right, but Sean
That's kinda what you're
Payton's
saying.
Sean Payton's coached 258 games. Mike Macdonald is coaching his first game. And if you give good coaches, why does Andy Reid always do well week 1 and coming off the bye? Because
He's
good
prepared.
coaches with extra time to prepare have an edge. And I think Sean Payton has this game circled. And I think Broncos will come in ready for this matchup against Seattle.
All right, so
I don't think that I'm just saying, I don't think that's a slam dunk. I think people are going to play Seattle in the Survivor, and certainly fading a rookie quarterback on the road, non-conference, making his week 1 start. I see that case. I just look to the coaching difference, and I don't think I think it could be an interesting game at New England. I think New England's going to be pretty rough, but that is a tough travel spot for Seattle. It's interesting. They're only favored by 2.5 there. And then at home against the Dolphins, Dolphins might win that. Lions on the road, they're 6-point dogs. They might cover, might not win. Yeah, I could see, man, this is
the schedule's easy, but if things aren't working, you could very
so much comes down to the coach,
Lions game also is a revenge game from last year. They lost. The Seattle beat Detroit early in the season.
Yep.
If you remember that game,
That was a bonkers,
a little bit of a
game,
weird
too.
game. So yeah, I mean, I think this is ceiling of 2-2, but can they lose one of the first 2 games?
Yeah,
I'll say 2-2.
2-2.
I hear you about the Broncos. I certainly wouldn't lay the points.
No, it's one of those things. And again, I'll save my official play here for NFL Week 1 episode because I'm still gonna think on it. I want to see Bo Nix in the preseason. I want to see if Bo Nix is definitely the starter. There's a lot to
Those odds are plummeting right now.
Yeah, you were pointing that out. I still think he is, and I think he's going to be an interesting DFS play. Sneaky amount of rushing touchdowns for Bo Nix. I might go 1-3 here.
All right.
I'm going to go 1-3.
All right.
Kramer, what do we got?
And if I didn't mention that Detroit game is a Monday Night Football game in Detroit too, so extra tough spot. Next 4, Giants at home, another revenge spot for the team they're playing. They beat the Giants last year. Niners at home, at Falcons, Bills at home.
Oh,
Niners would be Thursday Night Football. So I mean,
we know that's a loss because like the Mike Macdonald or at least ATS.
well, so if you want to even go
Which would be a
further,
loss then,
that
yeah.
11 game, the Monday to Thursday stretch, that if any team has a Monday night game that ends with a Thursday night game 2 weeks later, you say they play 3 games in 11 days.
Yeah.
And the real angle there is you look to fade them in the middle, especially.
Well, and then the Thursday night thing that we said 49ers, you said was Thursday night, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So that whole stretch feels like a losing streak. So we already had them losing to the Lions.
Beat the Giants.
You're going to lay 3.5 with the Seahawks there.
I think they'll win the game. But yeah,
Really,
I probably
all of
will.
a sudden you like the situation.
Against the Giants, yeah. Daniel Jones on the road.
Oh, here we Malik Neighbors by then will have 1,000 yards.
Is he throwing the ball to himself?
He could. I've seen him do that before.
All right, so Giants, Niners at Falcons, which I'm not even high on the Falcons, but that's a tough spot. I guess you do have the extra rest, and then Bills at home. Bills will beat them.
This is a wicked 1-3.
So I was close to going,
actually 0-4.
Okay. Well, you you have your Giants bias in there, but
what do you mean?
I'm gonna go 2-2.
1-3. I'll be realistic.
There are 3 home games. I'll go because I was close to having them go 2-2. 3-5 sounds right for this team first 8 games.
Yeah, and it's not even a tremendously weird spot for the Bills. This team tough sledding here. All right, week 9 Rams at home, another divisional game. I feel like them and the Rams. You know what? I'll just have the division split. I'll be fair. Bye week, then at Niners, Cardinals at home, and then at Jets.
Man, that's brutal. This schedule is tough. I mean, you're almost wasting your bye because at 49ers, that's going to be maybe 9 points. That's tough.
Well, I gave the Niners the loss early in the season because I'm chopping it up.
Yeah, see, I'm not because I think even though it's because it's a new head coach and it's a Thursday night, and they'll be coming off that massive Giants win.
So it's 2 home divisional games and then a third divisional game on the road against the Niners and the Jets on the road. We assume Aaron Rodgers still healthy at this point.
Yeah. So I will have them winning the Cardinals. They probably split because they play them again. But I don't know. Can they win Rams at home?
Yeah, I'll give them both those wins.
So you go 2-2. I'm down on this team. I'm going to go 1-3.
Chopping divisions up has really been liberating for me. All right. So where am I at? Let's set the stage.
You're 5-7. I'm 4-8.
5-7. Might have to go back. At Arizona. All right. Last 5 home stretch. At Arizona, Green Bay at home, Minnesota at home, at Chicago, at Rams. Okay. So I got 2 road division games. Those are going to be losses. Boy,
I'll go 2-3.
I don't know if I can talk out of both sides of my mouth here and give them both losses at home. I think they might win both those games.
Yeah, I'll go 2-3.
2-3.
I think they'll do okay against the Vikings. I think they'll
and the Packers.
I think they'll beat the Vikings, and then
Packers are trash.
Between the other 4 games, they got 1 win in them. I think 2-3 is fair.
All right, so if I go 2-3, did I go over?
You have them 7-10, Ryan.
Perfect, beautiful.
I actually walking through this schedule.
That makes so. I will say I thought I was going to be lower.
Yeah.
I guess I could say the Niners are going to sweep them. And drop it down to 6-10.
I had them. So I have them 6-11, and I do have the Niners sweeping them mostly because they played their home game week 6.
Yeah, you know what?
At Thursday Night Football.
Second quadrant 0-4 for me.
Okay, you had to copy me.
Yeah, it's a good pick.
6-11.
So, sometimes if you got a good pick.
All right, let's we'll talk best bets before we do that. Shout out to our lead pipe lock, Circa Survivor, Circa Millions. Course, who doesn't want a chance to win millions of dollars in Circus Survivor? I was just talking to a guy today on the phone. He got 23rd place, Ryan, in Circus Survivor, and he goes, "You know what? I didn't." He sold a couple shares at some point and did okay, but he goes, "You know what? Didn't matter. Would I have loved the $10 million? Sure." But I love the sweat even more. I go, oh, this is.
#Legends only.
I mean, you should enter this contest just to see the joy it brought Cousin Mush's eyes. Just thinking about that $10 million prize when he was alive in week 8, it came crashing down. But this year could be different. I mean, think you will be kicking yourself if you win your company survivor pool and you're not in Circus Survivor. Perfect time to come out, say what's up to Kramer and I. Great excuse to head out to beautiful Las Vegas. Sign up there. You can play from anywhere thanks to our proxy.footballcontest.com. Use the promo code SGP, save you $50 there. And again, sign up between now, September 7th, when the season kicks off there. $6 million guaranteed, circa million. Ryan, we're back better than ever. Love circa, and of course, if you're coming out for the contest weekend, promo code SGP, August 22nd through the 24th, you get 15% off your hotel. Hang out, have some drinks with Kramer and I. It's going to be an awesome weekend, and of course, Rhythm, Ryan. It's happened. Their football product is here. NFL and college. I'm already tinkering away with my models. Let me pull up some of the fire up the old Rhythm app here. Take a look where we're at. Building models left and right. They already got some picks in there, player props. They got it all. I mean, it's just so awesome to see the college football top 5 predictions. They're building the model right now, right in front of me. This is just it's just so fun. You know what they like, Ryan? August 31st. Rhythm AI, 71% win probability. Eastern Kentucky, Mississippi State under 58.5. So there you go.
Okay.
Free pick from the Rhythm AI. They got so many on here. They've been killing it with basketball, back WNBA, and of course, college football is here. Get your 7-day free trial. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Ryan, update. We had what?
Oh, I said really an update.
Yes, an update. We had Daniel on promoting the SGPN Tattoo League, which he is running. We are fronting the cost for the loser to get a SGPN tattoo, or winner, as if winner wants to get a tattoo as well. $500 gift card. He's saying 6 spots left, so already some spots being claimed.
I wonder if Cody's one of those 6.
Cody said he was
just asking questions.
He did. I did see Cody chirping at you in our Slack, Ryan, because you had called him out. You're like, oh, he's too scared of this league.
I just wondered if he was man enough to do a league like this. I know he does a lot of leagues, so it was a question.
It was a question. He answered it.
Just
sounds like he's in. Sounds like he's in. All right. So what are we doing? How are we fading this Seattle Seahawks team? I looked at the floor cases, Ryan, and they don't have last place in the NFC West. I'll just add that to the sheet here. We don't have a price yet, but I do think
fewest wins.
So fewest wins. What do you think the price should be? I'd
imagine they're one of the favorites, right? I didn't actually look at that market.
Well, it's 7.5, and the fewest wins for them. It's like 23-1.
Really?
I thought that was a little short. I was hoping for like 30 plus.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not interested in that.
Well, because I think it's low, but it's maybe not. I don't think they're going to be the worst team in the NFL, and certainly not at.
They're going to get a win or 2 in the first 2 weeks.
23-1. Well, and that was the other thing, is that you look at some of those spreads, them to be last winless teams, 25-1, and they have some decent spots early.
Yeah, that's.
I don't like the ceiling case for and I don't like coach of the year too. Like if you're looking for some insurance on fading them.
I don't get the love of that bet.
This one we talked about on the VSiN show, Ryan, but Zach Charbonnet to lead the NFC West in rushing yards, 50-1. Put me down for that.
Beautiful. If you're following the system, it's perfect.
Well, because
give it to me.
It makes a ton of sense. I think there's a world. Again, I'm not predicting Christian McCaffrey gets injured. Math is okay. So let's say hypothetically Math comes through and Christian McCaffrey gets injured. Okay, he's not going to lead the NFC West in rushing.
Yep.
What about Kyron Williams and Blake Corum? Well, Kyron Williams dealing with the foot thing.
Math might be coming for him too.
Maybe they throw a little bit more than expected.
Did you know Math was here before us? Before we colonized this great land, Math was here.
And then you look at the other Arizona, similar situation where you have a vet, James Conner, dealing with a rookie that they drafted super high in Trey Benson. They're going to want to get him some run.
Oh, Matt's definitely coming for James Conner.
I just think these division leader things are even more fun because for the long shot prices, because I mean, think about it. Again, going back to the math, instead of competing with 32 teams, you're just competing with 4, right? So the long shots in my mind have more value. Am I taking Zach Charbonnet to lead the league in rushing? No. But it's just the NFC West. It's so obviously he's got to beat Kenneth Walker. But then other than that, like I think he's gonna be in the mix.
Yeah, it's like that death meme where it's just like you need the 3 doors. You need death to visit 3 people.
Yes,
and then you're in.
Yeah, because and I'll pull up his odds too. And again, I think this will kind of show you the value in some of these division leader prices. So
well, that was the whole point. Like last year when we found the Tyler Algier thing, it was like, well, this doesn't make any sense.
This is crazy, Ryan. What do you think Zach Charbonnet is to lead the entire NFL in rushing yards?
Probably like 100 to 1.
100 to 1.
Wow.
What? It should if he's 50 to 1 to lead the NFC West. Shouldn't he be at least 400 to 1? There's 8 divisions.
I can probably explain the existence of Christian McCaffrey in his division. I think is probably what's doing this to the price.
Sure, I get it. Yeah. But Christian McCaffrey is also in the NFL,
and math's coming.
Yeah,
I mean we didn't create it. It was here before us. Yeah, I like the angle.
Anything you can find of Zach Charbonnet beating
touchdowns?
Out most touchdowns in the division.
I don't believe they probably aren't offering it yet. But
okay.
would you do the touchdowns?
Yeah.
I feel like every time I'm betting the yards or the touchdowns, I have to bet the other one.
Oh, because you don't want to be left hanging, right?
All right. So do you want me to enter new territory? I'm going to take us into a new market, Sean. We haven't talked about it all season. Total points. How many points do you think the Seattle Seahawks scored last year?
Total points.
Total points.
Okay, I'm gonna say 325. Total guess.
364.
Okay. All right.
Pretty good guess.
Thanks.
So based on do you think they're going to be a higher flying team than last year?
No, and this is probably good insurance because I think if they do succeed, if they do end up being good, it's going to be because they're running the ball well. They're getting their turnover differential goes up from +2. Mike Macdonald's defense kind of playing some grinded out games. And it's a way you can be optimistic without really being high on Geno Smith. That's really where I struggle to get to their ceiling outcome.
All right. So what if I told you again, 364 points last season?
I would take the under.
What if I told you this year they totaled it at 399.5?
How would they move it up? How would they move it up?
By that?
Why?
All right. So do you want? All right.
Look at that team last year, and you go, "Oh, give them 30 more points."
So you're probably wondering, well, who?
What do they think? Eric Bieniemy is running.
Well, that might not be a good thing.
That's a little side story that got swept under the rug. Oh, the NFL is so racist. They're not giving Eric Bieniemy a chance.
Yep.
And then Eric Bieniemy's offensive coordinator and out of the league in 1 year.
Just disappeared. He was sent off in Riverboat Ron's boat.
Does the NFL get an apology? I mean, maybe some of these coaches were right to be a little skeptical. That Washington offense, and yeah, some of it was talent, but some of it was really bad play calling.
I don't think the Commander fans are upset that he's gone.
No.
All right, so you probably wondering 399.5. What teams? Give me an example, Ryan, of a team that scored around 400 points last year. Well, there's 4.
Okay.
1, the Indianapolis Colts, which by the way, the Packers scored 383. The Colts
playing the dome
396. They were pushing the shit out of the ball. The Browns 396.
You got Shane Steichen.
The Browns, which once Joe Flacco came in, they were cooking with gas.
They really were.
The Saints, which was somewhat surprising to me,
another dome
at 402, and the Rams. How is this Seahawks team? Someone's made a mistake, Sean. This is a.
I really like.
I dare Jeff Benson to put this one up. I wonder if they have total points. I'll have to. I do have the sheets from the circa in the.
I am just looking at this. Geno Smith dealing with hip and knee issues.
Yeah. So, all right. So
you're gonna move up the point total?
I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. It didn't seem right. So I had to share it with everyone.
No, it's a great one.
First time we're talking points.
I kind of almost forgot about that market.
Again, it's not up everywhere, but you can definitely find it. All right. So this brings me to something else. Will someone offer Sam Howell to lead the league in interceptions? Because with the hip and knee issues to Geno Smith, is there a chance I don't see him being offered right now.
I mean, he gave it a run. God bless Sam Howell. He didn't. You know, every time you handicap the most interception market, you're usually like, well, you got to play. And I guess he did play all the games, but he didn't start all the games. Still led the league in attempts.
Very impressive performance. I mean, a performance Jameis Winston would be proud of.
What was it like? He didn't start 2 games, but then he ended up coming in for Jacoby Brissett.
He threw like 3 picks and a half. No big deal. All right, but being serious,
yeah.
Geno, any interest in Geno Smith to lead the league in interceptions?
No,
you don't. Not going to throw enough. Not going to play enough.
Yeah, I think it's a combination.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be some. Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what's the price?
40-1.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you. I don't think he'll have the opportunities.
What do you like in the underdog market, Ryan?
Oh, great question. So I think they've been locked onto my computer. I'm getting your location treatment lately, but I would say so. The Charbonnet stuff. Hold on.
Well, they don't have any of the Charbonnet stuff up right now. I'll tell you.
Are you sure?
I'm not seeing any Charbonnet.
They had touchdowns up earlier.
Byron Murphy.
Oh no, you're going You're going defense.
I was going to go lower. I mean, a rookie to get 5 sacks is high, but maybe he's an outlier. JSN touchdowns. Kenneth Walker's touchdowns 8.5, 925.5 rushing yards. You can almost play Charbonnet by fading Kenneth Walker.
They have week 1 numbers up too, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Breaking news. So the other way to play this is you fade Geno Smith.
I think I'm just going to settle on lower 22.5 passing touchdowns for Geno.
Because I think if I had to maybe we should make this list at some point, Sean. Quarterbacks who definitely won't play the entire season. He's high to me. He's very high on the list of quarterbacks that are going to. He missed 2 games last year.
Dude, only threw for 20 touchdowns.
Sam Howell's as good as Geno Smith. And at some point, Sam Howell's they're gonna be like, all right, well, this isn't very exciting. Maybe we see what we have in Sam Howell.
I think again, Sam Howell to me, as much as it was a disaster, it's Washington. In much in the same way, I want to see Zach Wilson not in a Jets uniform before I officially, bury the guy. I'd like to see Sam Howell.
Sean's in on Zach Wilson.
No, I'm not in on him. But I think he had enough arm talent that maybe in the right system, and maybe he has a lot of issues, but maybe in the right setting, Sam Howell to me flashed like he had a couple 30-point games. He had some throws. I watched enough of the Commanders where I'm like, oh shit, that's actually a pretty decent ball. Now he had the floor, right? He had all those interceptions, et cetera, et cetera.
But a lot of that was like,
a lot of it was like, that's rookie stuff. That's bad scheme stuff. Like I thought the kids saw the field decently. I would have not given up on him on a rookie contract. I would not have. I mean, Howie Roseman, Eagles, they call themselves a QB factory. I don't think you punt on him that early. And to your point, Ryan, like they're not tied to Geno money wise. I think he doesn't have a huge benching risk, but if they start out 3-6, first year head coach, he's going to get the hook out. Because then. Well, here, if you're first year head coach, all right, let's put it this way. Mike Macdonald, does he think Geno Smith is going to win him a Super Bowl?
No.
Okay. So if you're Mike Macdonald, the quicker you get to a quarterback besides Geno Smith, the better your job is, the better your job health is, the better your job status is. So how can you get rid of Geno Smith? Well, 1, he can struggle. 2, he can get injured. Or 3, you can bottom out, and then you draft the guy that you think can win you the Super Bowl. And when you draft a rookie quarterback, you automatically extend your leash. Now you have a bunch of good options because Geno Smith struggles. Okay, let's give the kid Sam Howell a little run.
Laid it out.
And if Sam Howell struggles, all right, then you have a decent shot to get a rookie, a good rookie quarterback. He knows, Mike Macdonald knows he's not winning a Super Bowl with Geno Smith. He's got to know that. If you put a gun to his head and said, "You think you're winning a fucking Super Bowl?"
Of course he knows that. And honestly, look, I think you look at Sam Howell. He played one game his rookie year. He came in, he started in that trash offense that Eric Bieniemy was running.
Yeah, and I said rookie, but basically like first year as a starter.
He threw a lot of interceptions. He also threw for a lot of yards. He threw for 4,100 yards. Again, in a situation where he was often running for his life. I'm not trying to defend Sam Howell here, but I do think he was traded. It doesn't make sense. Why would you trade a cheap quarterback, 5th round quarterback on a rookie deal because you're worried that you're worried he's gonna fuck up Jaden Daniels.
They were worried he was gonna take the locker room from Jaden.
So what do you think he's gonna do in Seattle? Which I don't know. Maybe that's an upgrade for me, but again, if anyone's willing to offer the Sam Howell most interception prop just in case he gets in a couple games. Yeah, I don't know. I would wonder if Geno's missing time. What is this going to turn into? A couple weeks if Sam Howell's looking good. There's a lot of good receivers on that team. It probably is a little easier to look. I don't know. To your point, I can't imagine he's all in on Geno. Anything else?
No, I think it's we
wait. So final answer, we're taking the lower Geno Smith 22.5.
Is that your underdog as
touchdown.
well? Yeah.
It seems obvious. We were talking about this with which quarterback were we talking about this where the number was just too high because he's not going to play all the games? Drake May.
Bo Nix.
Oh, Bo Nix.
Or sorry.
No, Drake May.
No.
Who were we?
JJ McCarthy.
That's right. JJ McCarthy. 10 previews in a week, Sean. It's going to happen. So it's the same kind of thing for me. We're highlighting why Sam Howell probably gets a little bit of burn. We're also, being an old guy who's already sore. It seems obvious.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, also, I know.
What do you mean?
Well, you mentioned old guy being sore, and I know we're technically previewing the Seattle Seahawks, but if you could somehow dig up the Zeke video, I think our audience would enjoy that as a nice sentence.
Yeah, I'll send it over to Josh.
A reminder, of course, the phrase that pays. Collect all 32 words. Submit the phrase, and we're gonna set up like a little Google sheet so we get everyone's email. We're gonna spin a virtual wheel. Fun way to kick off the season. One lucky winner will get a $500 Circa NFL future. Reminder: this episode's word A. All right, so we have the Zeke video. If we can play it with audio, because the audio really does add to it. He may have gotten hit in the nuts, or maybe super old.
Where do you think he got hit?
Or a combination.
He just looks tired.
I mean, that stance is not encouraging if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan.
That's funny.
As we all know, Dallas sucks. All right, so we both have them going 6-11. We both like the underdog play. Geno Smith lower 22.5 passing yards. Both like the under 7.5. I'm saying, last place NFC West under 399.5 points, and Charbonnet most rush yards NFC West. So any sort of like Charbonnet long shot, I think that's the bright spot for them. And the under 399.5 points, you're kind of covered a couple different ways. They might still end up being okay, but you're covered because it probably would have to be their defense. Kramer,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
More previews coming up. And if you're going to be out in Bet Bash this week, Las Vegas, come say what's up. We'll be doing a live podcast Thursday in Las Vegas at Bet Bash, and our VSiN show Friday night. So if you're in Vegas this weekend, come say what's up. For Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second Money Green. He's Ryan.
Pete Carroll's got a lot of questions.
Kramer, let it ride.